Hey guys, my name is Johan and welcome to The Blueprint. And if you're watching this for the first time, this is your podcast. If you want to have a healthy life through effective healthy habits, if you want to learn about self-confidence, and if you want to become a high-performing individual, then this is the channel for you. And if you are watching this for the first time on YouTube, guys, if you could like, subscribe, and share this content with some family and friends, I'll be truly, truly appreciative. And again, guys, welcome to The Blueprint. So, about 2 weeks ago, I did a post on Instagram where I talked about where do negative habits stem from? And I had a lot of questions around this space, and I thought, why not drop a quick episode about where do negative habits stem from? And then I'm also going to share with you strategies and tools that you can implement in your life as well, so you can finally make that step from moving from a negative habit life to a positive habit life as well. And if you don't know who I am, guys, basically I'll coach a lot of people in self-confidence, healthy habits, and high-performing techniques as well. So if you've got any questions, please reach out. So like I was saying, guys, I believe there are 4 main reasons why people have negative habits in their life. And I'm going to quickly share with you what they are right now. So number 1 is through studying, through seeking counsel, and looking at genetics. I believe one of the most primary reasons we have negative habits is because it's been passed on from us, from our family members and cultural backgrounds as well. So just to give you a bit of specificity, my background's Maltese. I was born in Australia. My parents are Maltese. And after studying the culture of Malta, where we originate from, there's a lot of anxiety. So people from that origin tend to have a lot of anxiousness thoughts, very tedious, very perfectionist-based mindset as well, and very stressed out or intense individuals. And after studying this concept, I actually realized that a lot of those traits have been passed on both to my mum, my dad, and myself as well. So if you don't know me, guys, I'm actually a very, very intense person. And because I become so intense, sometimes my anxiety just increases, and it's something that I continue to work on a yearly basis as well. So that is number 1. So if you're a person who might have, depression, maybe you're running late to always appointments, maybe you've got self-sabotaging habits, whatever the case may be, have a look at your family tree. Maybe talk to your mum, dad, siblings, cousins, and friends, and see if anyone within your culture has the same negative habits as you. And I think it's so important, guys, all right? That's number 1. Number 2 is life trauma. So life trauma is basically things that happen to us that we don't control, right? And, people might have a car accident or come from a bad relationship, a very negative relationship. And sometimes what happens is we take those negative habits with us. So for example, if you've had a bad car crash, you're going to have a very traumatic experience. And through that, negative habits may form. Some people might get to alcohol or, smoking just to numb their feelings, just to find comfort. So when people come to me about negative habits to fix, like smoking or alcohol or whatever it may be, usually there's an underlying problem that persists, if that makes any sense, right? Number 3 is your environment. So believe it or not, when you're a child, you don't get to select who you hang around with. Usually it's your mum and dad who will put you in different, call it environments. And then you've got school, high school, and things like that as well. And believe it or not, that association will usually trigger negative habits. And just to give you a bit of scope, imagine you're 18, 19, 20 years old, and all you do is party and you're hanging around with people who take drugs. There's a high probability that you're going to develop a negative pattern of having drugs. Or if you're a person that's associating or grown up with a lot of people who gossip and all that kind of stuff, then that habit may transform to yourself, which in turn that develops a healthy or negative habit, I should say, towards yourself. Hopefully that makes sense as well. And then number 4, I just call it life experience. See, when you're a child, your brain's a sponge. But as we become adults, our bandwidth to take on new things becomes limited. So what happens is, because we're stuck in our ways, it's very hard for us to change our negative habits into healthy habits as well. So there's a concept, right? And people will say, if you want a healthy habits, it only takes 21 or 28 days, whatever the case may be. And that's total bullshit. Because depending on how you're wired and what you've been through will actually dictate the amount of time discipline, and consistency you will need in order to improve your life in terms of healthy habits. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys as well. So guys, that's all I really want to harp on around that section as well. So the next question would be what tools and what things I could do to become more healthy habit entailed. So if you're experiencing a negative habit within your life, the first thing you want to do is, if you want to take that negative habit, you've got to find a positive habit to change that rhythm. So for example, if I don't watch out, I could actually develop a few negative habits. And just to give you a bit of transparency, one of my negative habits is I love to work. And yes, I love to work, and it's kind of can be as a good thing. But sometimes I can work so much that I'll actually become not present. And that's not a great thing for me, especially if you've got a wife or a family, friends and all that kind of stuff. You want to be more present. So what I do is to ensure that negative habit is obviously I work a few less hours. And more importantly, I spend more time at the gym. Gym provides me with healthy dopamine, which means I become a lot more happier, a lot less stressed, and more importantly, I get to enjoy my time in a safe, improved environment. So that's number one. Number two, when you want to take off a negative habit, if your habit is I've got a drinking problem, then the second thing you want to do is deassociate yourself with people who are drinking. So that means, if you're drinking, don't go to pubs, don't go to parties, not until you got yourself under control. That is the most important thing. So don't associate with people that you don't want to be like, essentially. That's what I'm just basically trying to say. Number three, another technique you can implement is you're going to give yourself a reason why you want to change that negative habit into a positive habit. So I was talking to a client of mine, he or she may have a weight problem. And basically this person has a very bad weight problem. And every time they went on a diet, they basically stopped. Every time they went to the gym, they basically stopped. And this person has seen counselors, psychologists, and doctors, and all they recommended was to have medicine, right? And I said to that person, why do you want to lose weight? And this person said, because I want to look better. And I said, do you think that is going to really make you motivated to change? Like, if that was such a big why, you would have changed already, right? Hopefully that makes sense. And then I said to that person, have you got kids? And the person here said, yeah, I've actually got 2 kids. And I said, all right, cool. Let me give you a bigger why. If you're not healthy, do you think you're going to be around for a long time or a short time? And that person said, a short time. And I said, all right, cool. And I said, can you imagine that there's an opportunity where you'll see a doctor one day and said, hey, this could all be gone had you just gone to the gym, eat right, and all that kind of stuff. And in that turn, while you're passing away because you're overweight and all that kind of stuff, you're unhealthy, your daughter or son is being walked down an aisle with a different father or a stepfather or their father-in-law. Wouldn't that break your heart to know that you could have done something at that time? And just to be transparent with you, when my dad passed away, he passed away from cancer, which was developed by a lot of smoking and drinking. And I remember this so clearly. The doctor said, hey, Laurie, that was my dad's name. He said, you know what? If you stop smoking and you stop drinking when we actually told you 2 years ago, you would have had a high likely chance of surviving. Not certain, but a high chance. And I remember him on the bed just crying at the hospital. He said, I'm so sorry, I should have listened to the doctor. And I said to him that day, I said, mate, I'm going to make you a promise that I'm going to live forever. Anytime I get into a negative pattern in life, I'm going to change it, and you're going to be my reason. You're going to be my reason. So every time I run into a negative state of mind or a negative habit comes in place, it reminds me not to be like my dad in a good way. And that is the most powerful thing to help you change a negative habit to a positive habit. Hopefully that resonates with you guys. So guys, that's all we're going to be talking about today's episode again. So like I said, if you could subscribe and support the channel, that'll be truly appreciative. God bless. Have a great week and speak soon. And again, welcome to the Blueprint.